Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout or click the link down below. It'll automatically apply your discount to the transaction, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. Also, a bit of a heads up, this video will likely be on the shorter end of the storytime format videos because right now, as I'm recording this, I'm sick as shit. So, I'm hoping that I'm feeling better. I'm taking all the medications that I can. I'm working on getting my sleep and everything. But honestly, this video took me 3 days to record just because of how much my throat hurt. My 31F boyfriend, 25M, Googled, "Is my girlfriend a bully?" And I am heartbroken. My boyfriend and I have very, very different styles of arguments. I had a pretty traumatic childhood. My dad's dead, and my mom doesn't like me. And I'm used to horrific arguments where people yell things and everyone shrugs it off. My boyfriend, on the other hand, hasn't had much conflict in his life so far. He's also a fair bit younger than me. When we argue, I get very logical and rational. And honestly, I can be mean. But I don't get angry or shouty, except when he talks all over me, which is always. I argue more like a lawyer in court than his girlfriend. But I do make sarcastic comments like, "Nice to see you doing that for X when you wouldn't for me," or when he mentions how his parents' divorce when he was 2 affected him. I can be like, "Oh, poor you," because my dad did this to himself. And various other awful things happened. I know it's not a competition, but it drives me mad when he tries to excuse behavior at 25 with, "I was bullied at school," or whatever. I went on his Mac yesterday and changed his background to something cute, which I've done a few times. I went to Google, the picture I wanted, and his previous search came up, "Is my girlfriend a bully?" I was horrified. So I know that I shouldn't have, but I went into his history to see what he Googled it, and he spent ages reading articles about bad relationships and the signs of emotional A, even domestic A. I don't even shout. To top it off, a little while later, he'd done this to the Hub videos. Nice! Obviously really upset. Anyways, I confronted him immediately, and he said that it wasn't about me. When we argue, he starts shaking immediately, and often our arguments end in him crying and saying that it's his fault. He has major self-hate issues, which he was getting therapy for, but stopped because of money. I've told him to start again, but anyways, he said that when we argue, he feels bullied, attacked, and in danger. And that his therapist said that he should look up bad relationships to see why he reacts that way. He claims that he doesn't think that I'm this, but when I first asked if I was, he said, "You found my diary?" So he said it there too. I feel like this might be a deal breaker for me. His reactions to my mean, but not at all this redacted argument style makes me feel like a monster. And with my background, I'm not sure that I can be with someone who has so little life experience that they think, "Oh, poor you, is this?" But also, I'm feeling a bit of a skunk coast fallacy creeping in. I don't massively want to start all over again. He's met my family, we live together. I was single for ages before we got together. Is this worth breaking up over? And if not, what should I do? Am I being unreasonable? Is he? I've booked us in for a couples counseling in 2 weeks, but I'm going mad here. TLDR, a boyfriend reacts badly to arguments, feels bullied, though it's honestly not that bad. I found out he'd been Googling whether I'm emotionally this or I'm devastated that he'd think of that of me. Oh yes, because everybody likes to hang around the person where they think that somebody else's negativity is very much something you could just shut down by saying, well, I had it worse, I had this happen to me. Yeah, that's totally something that everybody wants to have around. On top of that, the whole going under their computer thing to change their background is something that I wouldn't really be a fan of. Regardless of how many times you do it, I'm not going to suddenly start liking it. You're supposed to be supportive of them, and it doesn't really seem like you're doing that at all. So yeah, I would be kind of upset and think that you would be a bully too. Like, if the person was doing this to you instead of you doing it to them, would you think it would be fine? Am I the a-hole for not letting my son talk to his friends? Me, a 44M, and my wife have a 16-year-old son. To be completely honest, I have always been super strict with technology. 5 years ago, I put a downtime on my phone and MacBook, which, to those who don't know, essentially is a screen time, and it turns his phone and laptop off at certain times. This includes him not being able to text or call his friends during the night. My wife has always disagreed with this. Originally, his downtime was 7 p.m., but we eventually upped it to 9 p.m. once he got into high school. He's been irritated by this. He doesn't care about the facts that he can't access apps during his downtime, but more annoyed that he can't keep communicating with his friends, which annoys him even more when it's summer. We also moved states 2 months ago, which has led him to try and talk to his friends from home more often. However, he does have a PlayStation downstairs, which we let him get on, even when his phone and computers are off. I have tried to put a downtime on his PlayStation before too, but I couldn't figure out how. 4 days ago, he placed an order on Amazon, and 2 days later, the package came. I was already on the couch when my son got it from the front door and brought it into the kitchen, where he opened it. He pulled out a box of earbuds. He already has AirPods, so I asked him what he needs those for. He told me it was for his PlayStation, so I thought nothing of it. Later that night, I got woken up at 11 by the sound of laughing coming from the living room, followed by the faint sound of talking. At first, I didn't know what it was, but as I became less drowsy, I realized it was my son. I went downstairs and saw him sitting on the couch with the earbuds on the PlayStation. He saw me and said, "Hold on," into the mic before taking the earbuds off. I asked him what he was doing, and he said that he was playing games with his friends. I looked at the screen and saw him in some kind of voice chat with 2 other people. I told him that he wasn't allowed to talk to his friends after 9, which is why the downtime exists, and he told me that he thought that he was still able to call them on his PlayStation since I let him use it at night. He knows the rules that I have in place for technology, and I feel like my rules were getting broken, so I told him to get off the PlayStation and go to bed. He groaned and said, "Oh my god, bro," before shutting the console off. I watched him go upstairs, making sure he didn't try to stay down. The next day, to ensure that this wouldn't happen again, I took his earbuds and put him in the closet in me and my wife's room, in a place that our son could not find them. I also went on his PlayStation and figured out how to disable joining party chats. When he found out, he started giving me an attitude about how annoying I'm being. My wife thinks that I'm taking it too far and being an a-hole, and some close family members think that I'm potentially damaging his relationship with his friends. However, I'm thinking that I'm doing good. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole? If you have multiple people saying that you're the a-hole in this situation, and those multiple people include people such as your wife saying that you're going too far, or those close family members, you don't really need to be asking on random internet forums if what you did was wrong. It kinda is. You didn't have any problems with it until you found out that your son happened to have found a workaround for something that you already did, felt insulted by it, and then retroactively went back and punished him. Oh yeah, by the way, if he bought that with his own money, that is also considered theft. What do you want to bet as soon as a kid turns 18, they're not going to want to talk to them so much more, and then the parent will complain about that. The good old classic, I was an absolute dongwad to my kid, and now they don't talk to me. What did I do wrong? That spiel. Am I the a-hole for never telling my wife that I cheated on her? Last week was my 30th wedding anniversary. Today I turned 54, and the first day of retirement for my wife and I. My wife and I met when we were 16 through friends and started dating shortly after. We were both complete virgins when we met, so we learned and experienced everything together. We dated all throughout high school and long distance through college, tough, and ended up getting married at 23. We have 2 sons and a daughter now, aged 27, 24, and 22 respectively. When I was 27, I slept with another woman because I was curious, drunk, and very stupid. I don't remember many of the details, and they aren't important, but it was a woman that neither of us had ever met, and I never heard from again. As far as I know, my wife has never found out about this, or had any hesitation on trusting me ever. My wife went to college and didn't end up pursuing much of a career, opting to take care of the kids. It was tough for a while, and we both were stressed, and this was around the time of the affair. Not making excuses for myself, just context to explain why I would be so short-sighted and why I was drinking. But I eventually got a better job. We started budgeting and paid off our loans. From there, money was never an issue again, and we have been happy ever since. I have accepted the fact that I will never truly be happy again if I want her to get the happiness she deserves. I don't want to pretend the guilt still eats me alive every day. I still love my wife, and she still loves me. We have had so many happy and amazing memories, and still do every day. Though most usually come with a lingering feeling of guilt, too. She spent her whole life dedicated to me, to our children, and our family. And now that we have all of the freedom that we've been waiting for in our lives, I feel as if I have to come to a crossroads and only have 2 options. 1, continue living life as normal, take trips with my wife, play with my grandchildren, give her the retirement and the end of life that she deserves with her husband who she loves. I'm not really happy, and I may never be, but I am also not in a bad place. I could take this level of pain for the rest of my life and probably deserve that. 2, tell her. I don't know whether she would leave me now or forgive me. I think she deserves to know the truth. But I also think it could crush her at a time in her life where she is supposed to be the happiest. So, I need to know, am I the a-hole for not telling my wife? And is it time to tell her now? Edit for clarification. I know that I was an a-hole for not telling her when it happened, and I know every year I didn't makes it more of an a-hole, but what now? A TLDR, met my wife at 16, married at 23, cheated at 27, and never told her. Now we are 54, and life is perfect otherwise. You know, this is one of those things where probably would have been good to talk about this around the time that it happened, or in another case for this, you kind of thought you could just sweep it under the rug, and then this will just have you have a nice conscience and everything, right? No, but you also then said that you feel like you won't ever get to be happy again. Well, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. Never understood anybody who likes to cheat, and never understood the whole anybody wanting to have a couple of beers and then go behind the wheel. I feel like there's no reason, no moral choice between those. But with that is going to have to be with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up the wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!